All right, so a lot of you have difficulties and make a lot of mistakes when it comes to losing weight. So we're just gonna discuss why you're making mistakes and how you're not losing this weight. So number one is a huge pet peeve of mine, especially when I'm dealing with clients, is when they start to focus too much on the scale. Yes, the scale weight. A lot of us solely rely on the mere numerical value that the scale moves in either way. It either goes up or down. Yes, it's possible to lose fat without the scale budging. So next time you think watching the scale is the only source of progress, think again, watch the mirror, and don't worry too much about the weight fluctuations as long as the pattern is going down. Number two would be eating too little calories or eating way too many calories. There's no secret pill in losing weight other than a calorie deficit, meaning you must burn more than you consume in order to lose weight. If you are eating way too great of a deficit, say eating 1,000 calories less than you should be eating, uh, you can actually create a drastic effect where your body starts to retain the fuel a lot more efficient, slow down fat loss, and actually will help you retain fat a lot easier. And in the end, you're not going to be losing weight. So you don't want to have too great of a calorie deficit, and you don't want to have a too little calorie deficit. So you want something in between. So best thing to do is monitor your daily caloric intake. Take the averages to find what your maintenance is for the given day. And honestly, number three, a lot of people they have a lot of problem with this when they're not exercising or exercising too much. And by exercising, I mean like it can be anywhere between cardio, from running outside or going on a treadmill, basically anything. And even if you don't exercise and eat well, you can still lose weight, but mostly you'll be losing a combination of muscle, fat, and water. If you are exercising too much and expending too many calories, your body gets very efficient and it's going to get very hard to lose weight, especially in the long run. Number four, a lot of you don't do this, and even if you do it, some don't do it right, especially with good form. It's not lifting weights. Well, it's a given that lifting weights increases your metabolism. The more muscle you have, the greater metabolism. And how do you build muscle? Through weight training and proper nutrition. And honestly, we all get sucked into the marketing tactics that a lot of companies have. And number five is one of my biggest mistakes that I used to make back in the past was looking at low fat foods or diet foods. Because honestly, most of these are gimmicks designed for you to consume foods that are nutrient scarce. And even if they are advertised as good foods for you to lose weight, um, for when it says like fat free on a yogurt container, and there's actually an abundance of sugar added to the flavor, even if there's no fat. So essentially, you're switching out one poison for another. So you gotta be careful with that. A lot of you overestimate how many calories you actually are burning during exercise. A lot of times, like if you were going on a treadmill and it tells you that you burn 300 calories, in reality, it's an estimate. It's not really accurate per se. Uh, so you probably burnt anywhere close to, I would say, 150 to 200 calories, or maybe just slightly more. There are inaccuracies through equipment. So with mindfulness, use a way of determining your burn calories and stick to that. So it could be between a heart rate monitor or a Fitbit, whatever works for you, but stick to it so you can keep track of your progress. Um, a lot of times people don't eat enough protein, and A lot of you don't know this, but protein is one of the highest thermic food groups. Especially, what that means is it costs calories just to consume protein. So, say for example, I wanted to eat a chicken breast. Just for that chicken breast, it would cost me calories to extract the energy. So, with protein, the thermic effect of food is about 30% of protein gets wasted, but essentially it gets extracted to use for energy. So just for that, protein reduces hunger, increases your metabolic rate, which in turn increases muscle and also decreases body fat. And honestly, to keep yourself satiated in the long run, you should be eating a lot more fiber. And number eight is something we're all guilty for, is not eating enough fiber. And a lot of times you consume too many foods that are low in fiber, and not eating enough fiber can keep your appetite high and make you consume a lot more. A higher fiber diet keeps you full longer, so you eat less essentially, and it helps also help absorb food at a slower rate. And even if keto or a low carb diet is great, number nine can still lead to an unsuccessful weight loss transformation. And by that I mean, even if you're on keto or low carb, yeah, it can help reduce your hunger and calorie intake. But adding way too many fats can slow down or prevent weight loss in the long run, essentially. So you got to be careful with that. There's a fine line not to cross there. Number 10 is eating too often. Even if you aren't hungry, bottom line here, you should just be eating when you're hungry. Simple as that. Number 11 is, especially if you're someone who's super overweight, having unrealistic expectations. And by that I mean, say you're someone who's 60% body fat or even lower than that, and you're super obese, and you think maybe 4 months from now you're gonna have a six pack, you're gonna have a chiseled body, you're gonna feel like Arnold. Those are unrealistic expectations. Yes, you can have those goals, but you should be living up to goals that are attainable in time, but just not now make your goals more modest to increase your chances of success and add to it. And sometimes it's just so simple as to tracking your food. With number 12, not tracking what you eat in any way. Yes, it can get tedious to track all the foods you eat and see what you are really consuming. But if you aren't tracking what you eat, you may be consuming more calories than you realize. And not only that, you may also be getting less protein and less fiber than you think. And even if you cut out sugary drinks like Coca-Cola, soft drinks, number 13, even if you're having fruit juices like those Tropicanas with different types of blends of juices, um, you're also switching out one type of sugar for another type of sugar. And essentially, fruit juices have more sugar than a can of Coca-Cola would have. So you're just switching another vice of poison for another vice of poison, and it's a vicious circle in that respect. Number 14, say you're at a store and you're not reading labels. Not reading labels, many of us are guilty of this. Say you want to pick up a piece of bread for breakfast, and you just pick up the first brown toast you see. That brown toast, you don't read the ingredients and you just throw it in your basket. There could be ingredients there that are completely different from some other toast that you pick up. One toast might have ingredients that your body cannot digest, and there's nutrients in there that your body won't have a good time with. So you gotta make sure you fully understand what you are buying. And number 15, lastly, you should know not eating highly processed foods can lead to better absorptions with single ingredient foods. So try to stick to something where there are less ingredients. I like to look for something that has 3 to 5 ingredients. That's my rule of thumb. So try to look for something there where you have an easier time in digesting. And lastly, there are no special diets, no special pills or magic that can help you lose weight or keep it off. The only way through it is through a caloric deficit. And by that, I mean, if you aren't losing weight and aren't showing visible signs in the mirror, then you clearly aren't in a caloric deficit and need to go back to the drawing board. Simple as that. And if you are losing weight and you are seeing visible signs, then you are in a caloric deficit. Think about this. If someone, like all these other fad diets, told you, follow this, this, and this, and this, you're guaranteed to lose 30 pounds. What if I gave you a pill that's called a caloric deficit and it was promised for you to lose weight? Would you take it? 99% of the time you would. So think about it. There's nothing more to it than just being a caloric deficit and sticking to it. Yes, fat loss is very difficult, but if you stick to it, there's nowhere else to go except all the way up. Now keep that in mind and have a good day.